fools in the hill, ladies and gentlemen, and we will never be. Ambazonians will never be fools on the hill. Good evening. Welcome to ABS Africa Broadcasting Service, coming to you as usual from the great state of Texas, precisely Houston, Texas. Thank you for joining me tonight, ladies and gentlemen, especially those of you tuning in from all of Africa, but especially where we call Ground Zero, referring to the territory that we call today the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. Thank you for tuning in. I'd like to welcome, of course, all of you too joining in from Europe, including the United Kingdom, all of you joining from the continent USA, including Canada, of course, South America, the far and the near east, the Scandinavians. Thank you for joining this very special broadcast. As usual, I will expect you to quickly go ahead and hit that share button. Let's get at least 700, before I come to you with this special presentation. I'm going to go straight to the point. Not much to talk about, so we're not going to waste a lot of time here. I will come to you with the presentation, and then after the presentation, I understand that the chairman of the Ambazonia Electoral Commission has an announcement to make. I got that message just a few minutes before coming live to you, so he will be joining me with that announcement. So please go ahead and quickly hit your share button. And while you do so, I'd like to know briefly what is in your minds. Let me know what is in your minds for those of you who have joined. And please, we want to get this done as quickly as possible so I can get out of here. All right. So please hit that share button and let every Ambazonian lover out there know the anchor man is not live. He is alive and kicking really good. Hit your share button. We have less than 300 to go until we hit 700. All right, so let me see those of you who have joined. Lumpasi Van Abakwa Pekin. Greetings, Secretary Chris, say, watching from Australia for Lumpasi. In Cameroon, greetings, Chris. Yes, sir, thank you. Destiny, new country. Okay, please share. That is from Destiny. Let others know that the Anchorman is live. All right. So please, you go ahead and you do that. Let us quickly. I like the way the numbers are jumping. You don't want to sit for too long before I come to you with this presentation. Hit that share button, ladies and gentlemen. Mike Joe, I am seeing you. Mercy Freedom. Jessica Akwo. Yes, ma'am. I see all of you. Patricia Osiku. I see you. And then another one here. Cameroon Must Change. That is his name. All right. That is social media for you. Mom for Pondi. Courage, sir. May God bless you, sir. Thank you. I appreciate that. Papulo. Bado Gentle. Now we day here. Okay. Wonderful. Indigam Samba, say our able anchor man. Thank you, sir. Masters Man, that is his name. I say watching from Menji. We don't want to know who owns the land because we own it. You are very correct. Ambazonians know who owns the land. But remember, we are in this war because a certain segment in La République du Cameroon do not understand Ambazonia owns the land. That is why we bring you that opener on a daily basis each time we're coming to you. It's a reminder to La République du Cameroon we are not in this war in vain. We are fighting to reclaim. You know, I don't know whether many of you know this. We are not fighting for independence. We are fighting to restore our independence. This country we call Ambazonia got independence, ladies and gentlemen, in 1961, October 1961. But we were denied it. And that is why we are not in this fight saying we won independence. We are different from the Biafras. The Biafras won independence. For us, we want the restoration of our independence that was accorded us UN Article 1608 in 1961, ladies and gentlemen. Our case is different. All right, and again, that is why we have that song. We want to know who owns the land. We know we own the land because in 1961, it was given to us. All right, please hit that share button as you join. I am waiting for 700 to come to you proper. Okay, but that was a moment of education. All right, I see Malam Musa from Angola. We are going to fight to the last man standing, he says. Thank you, sir. Ogum Bernard, Ambazonia NGO is a scam. Believe it at your own risk. Terrorists, ROK is hiding in Mbuini, kidnapping, torturing people, and raping people's wives. Well, I believe you are on the wrong platform, so you better find your way out of here. All right? And I hope the admins are taking care of you. If you not behave yourself with some dignity here on the platform. Okay, please, again, I'm looking for you. Hit that share button. The moment I see 700, I will come to you. We have less than 150 to go. Okay. Wow, I see this thing is jumping. Jacqueline Ngwafonjari, he said the only man in revolution. All right, I take it from you. Anna Bita, I see you, ma'am. Amber, I said, Anchorman, I see some attacks on your personality from the big corners. Maybe they are afraid that some of them will be mentioned in your today's revelation. Do you guys realize that if I am not in this struggle, some of these guys will have nothing to say and nothing to do? I mean, just imagine if I left, if I surrender, many of them will have nothing to do and nothing to say on their televisions said, be it, is it ACN or ABC or whatever, they will have nothing to say. I am a news maker and I like that, and I hope they start paying for the right to use me to keep an audience. I really hope they do. But let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, no matter what they do, no matter how much they try, they are hitting against the rock. That's what I can say. They are hitting against the rock. They will never, ever get me out of here by any means, by force. For as long as I stand here looking at you eyeball to eyeball, telling you the truth and being honest with you, nobody will push me out of here. They have tried. They said Chris Anu took $135,000, right? I have asked them to at least, please give us receipts. Just imagine, we asked for Samuel Sako to go out there for an audit. He denied. What an opportunity that guy had to go out there and tell the auditors he gave $135,000 to Chris Anu and they squandered it. Just imagine the opportunity. All right. So, but please, ladies and gentlemen, worry nothing out there about those attacks. They're just wasting their time. Okay. I see also Amber, I see you. Amber, Anchorman, I see some attack. Oh, it was the same one. Okay, FM lives long. That is somebody's name out there. Dora, I see you. Achawung Geogracia. God is our strength, she says. Yes, sir. Oh, yes, ma'am. Thomas Mbamgong. Greetings are able, Anchorman. Secretary Chris, may you be blessed. Thank you, sir. Wow, those numbers are flying. Please hit that share button. About 100 to go. And I come to you with this presentation. Hit that share button if you are just joining. Just about 100 more to go. All right. Terence Lochu. Good evening, sir. Watching from ROM Rock. I don't know. Rom Rock is where? Is it Mwa? All right. Wonderful. Mark Power, I see you. Kami Cruz, Anchorman, we are dealing with them in Bamison very badly. They will pick ball and run our land. Yes, and let me seize on this opportunity to congratulate those fighters, Ambazonia restoration fighters in Bamison in Dub for doing an excellent job neutralizing those La République du Cameroon terrorists in your territory. Ambazonia will not rest until they pick their balls, they pick their tools and run. I listened to John Ngute the other day speaking in Pidgin, trying to convince Ambazonians that finally calm is returning. He said the field marshal has been killed and calm is finally returning. Schools are opening everywhere. Now, Ambazonians, you should remember, I came here and used a whole show to reveal to you that the plot that La République du Cameroon was putting in place is to have schools in every nook and cranny of Ambazonia open up, resume this September. You heard it from the mouth of Dion Ngute himself. You heard it in his mouth. They believe they are winning. They are making it. But again, let me assure Dion Ngute, if it means we will go for 30 years like Eritrea in this war, if it means we will hire mercenaries to fight this war, that is assuming all Ambazonians are dead, we will do so. We will do just that. And I really want to encourage and challenge every Ambazonian in the diaspora. Listen, if we win, it is upon us. If we lose, it is upon us. It is not on ground zero. Ground zero has the fighters. Ground zero has the people who are resisting this invading army with their own lives, with their jobs, with their businesses, with everything about them. We in the diaspora, the only thing we can do, we are not in the front lines, but we can put our money in the front lines and stop telling us that, oh, they are not united. Identify a group and ask that group to support and sponsor the war. That's all I can say to you. If you belong to the APLM, are you supporting them financially? If you belong to the IG, are you supporting it financially? That's a question. Ground zero is paying every price we can think of. And some people sit in the diaspora and just wave their hands and throw their hands up the air and say, oh, the leaders are all corrupt, the groups are all not united, giving flimsy excuses for not supporting the war. I wish that in the coming days there is a radical change that I see, and we make sure that everybody in the diaspora, whether you like it or not, is supporting this war. That moment is coming. We have to do it. After 6 years and losing over 40,000 people, and La République du Cameroon has not as much as compromised in anything. They are doing window dressing in so-called regional council, regional houses of chiefs, and so on, regional assemblies. I heard Dion Ngute talking about this over the weekend. Oh, regional councils, the conciliators, and so on. What do we see? What are they doing? I wish he could then tell us this is what the regional councillors have done, the regional houses of assemblies have done, the conciliators have done. I wish he could enumerate those things. No, he didn't. He didn't. He didn't tell us what they have done or what they are doing. Ambazonians, listen to the sound of my voice. La République du Cameroon has not as much as compromised a single thing, an iota of anything since this war began in 2016. They have not. Their parliament has not as much as put one bill on the table demanding. None of you, even the so-called opposition, the SDF members, the CAMTO members, and so on, not a single one of them has as much as put a bill on the table of that damn parliament demanding that the pogroms in Ambazonia stop. They haven't. La République has not compromised a thing since this war began. And you think that we should surrender our lives, our families will live their worst lives if we surrender now. They will occupy our territories. French will become the official language in all of the southern Cameroons. I bet you French will become the official language in all of the southern Cameroons. I hear Agbo Bala saying out there that they should at least, he is pleading, he is begging, please give us an Anglophone president. Oh, poor Agboola. Always going for the crumbs. Always going for the crumbs. What are we going to do with an Anglophone president, Mr. Barrister Agboola? What are we going to do with it? He will still be in the pocket of the French and execute their policy. That's what it will be. From time immemorial, they always give us the prime ministers. What have we achieved or attained out of it? After every 7 or 8 years, they rotated. If it was Simon Achidi Achu in the northern zone, then they removed him, they put Peter Musonge, right? Did Simon Achidi Achu give Bamenda roads? Of course not. Did he give them the ring road promise during his time? Of course not. Then they removed him, they brought in Peter Musonge. Did Peter Musonge bring the much promised deep sea port in Victoria to reality? Of course not. It didn't happen. How about after Musonge? The guy, what is his name? Ephraim Inoni. What did he bring? Zero. After Ephraim Inoni, Philemon Yang. What did he bring? Remember, the ring road passes through his own neck of the wood. He still did not get a ring road for Bamenda. Talk less of a ring road between Mbunda and Bamenda. For about 8 years, Philemon Yang did not take anything to Bamenda. And after Philemon Yang, we now have what they call Dion Gute. Dion Gute, I saw in a report from a Prime Media TV reporter, standing on the road to Ekondo Titi and showing us the road and reporting, this is the road that leads to Prime Minister Dion Ngute's place. Nobody can go there. The farmers cannot bring out produce from the farms. No roads going in there. He himself, Dion Ngute, cannot drive there. And somebody is out there asking that they should give us the post of president at least for once. What are we going to do with it? When the French are really the masters, what is he going to do? And by the way, what right does La République du Cameroon have to tell us what we want, to give us what we want? We are not chickens. We have to take it from them, ladies and gentlemen. We have to take it from them, not beg them for the crumbs falling from their tables. We should never do that. All right? I'm sorry I improvise these things. I don't come here planning to talk about things like this, but I talk with passion about it because, ladies and gentlemen, these things, they come from the bottom of my heart. That's why you see this passion. We are not in this world to chicken out with crumbs falling from the table that people like Agboola, John Frundi, and the rest, they are begging for, begging to happen. That is not what we are fighting and dying for for close to 6 years. Ambazonia, a free Ambazonia or nothing. And again, I am challenging every one of you comrades here in the diaspora. If you do not support the interim government, look for your favorite group. Support the APLM. At least we know the APLM of Dr. Akwanga. They have fighters on the ground. Support them and don't grumble about anybody. Support the interim government or you don't grumble. At least the groups that we know have fighters who are fighting on the ground. I hope this makes sense. Thank you. All right, I will take you now to this presentation, ladies and gentlemen. Again, before I take you into this presentation, I just like to remind all of you of what is coming up at the weekend. What is coming up at the weekend? As you find on your screen, we are celebrating a field march of Ambazonia in the Washington, D.C., Maryland metro over the weekend. And I want to invite you on behalf of the family. If you live in the Washington, D.C., Maryland area, please join us. Join us and let us celebrate the life of this hero, someone who gave his all and his best to free Ambazonia. Please, the event is coming up again this Saturday, and it is taking place at the, I think, Dora Kennedy School. I think it is elementary school in the Greenbelt, Maryland. Taking place in Greenbelt, Maryland this weekend. Again, I love on behalf of the family to invite all of you who can make it there, to please join us and let us celebrate the life of a great fighter, the life of the one who gave Ambazonia hope when hope was almost lost. When hope was almost lost, he brought hope to us in this struggle, ladies and gentlemen. And now he is gone, prematurely gone, and it is time for us to celebrate him. And remember, we are doing this as a family. We are not doing this as the interim government. The interim government will choose when they want to celebrate him. If they want to do it after 1 year, it is their choice. It is their decision. But this weekend, the family will be gathering with the BLMers and Ambazonians in the Washington, D.C. to formally bid farewell, the final farewell to our hero, Field Marshal the King. Our hero, ladies and gentlemen, Field Marshal the King. Now, I promise over the weeks, over the months, coming back to you, to reveal to you, disclose to you, those behind the assassination of Field Marshal. Field Marshal was not just an Ambazonian fighter like any other fighter. Field Marshal was my own brother, my own immediate brother, immediate follower. And you know what that means. Sometimes it is difficult to understand when we lost people in this struggle. When they are far away, when they are not close enough, it is difficult to really have the feel that parents of fallen fighters feel when they lost them. And it hit home really, really hard. And I was determined we will get to the bottom of who did it. And I can assure you, what you are about to hear from me is exactly what happened, and the names mentioned are exactly the people, the faces behind the mask, as I put it. And I want to remind you, this has been seriously voted. The information I am bringing to you is not coming from people who stood somewhere on the heels of the BLM and saw the event happening. No, absolutely not. The information I am bringing to you is not hearsay. This information, some of which we have on record, on tape, ladies and gentlemen, is coming from people, some of whom were the participants accompanying the assassins to the assassination location. Yeah, it is coming from some of them who went there to the scene to kill Field Marshal. And some of it is also coming from military sources in the bush on that occasion. It is well vetted, and you can trust, you can take this to the bank. Of course, there is the diaspora angle, which is still not very clear. But I will paint the picture of what was going on in the diaspora, especially within the executive of Fontem local government area in the diaspora. Ladies and gentlemen, I count all of them as accomplices to the killing of Field Marshal, and I will explain why. I count them in as accomplices. They played a very big role. We were seeing the signs. We saw the signs here in the diaspora. Thank God for people with foresight. They immediately cut off the LGA, cut off the LGA and created a new executive. May God bless you all, ladies and gentlemen. All right. For almost 6 years, combing through the hills, the valleys, and bushes of the BLM, La République du Cameroon invading soldiers could not capture, kill, nor find Field Marshal of Ambazonia. After all these years, they had given up on ever locating him. In fact, an intelligence source among the bees in the BLM related to me how they had given up looking or searching for Field Marshal. He added that they would only go looking for him if and when he attacked. Field Marshal of Ambazonia was so convinced that they were never going to locate him or match his guts or capture him that he reduced them to Boy Scouts of La République du Cameroon, lacking war agility and requisite experience. On several occasions, he was heard questioning why and for how long Paul Biya will keep on sending Boy Scouts to the BLM to die looking for him. And he was very right. They could never have found him or killed him. If it were left in the hands and discretion of the invading and occupying Cameroon army in the BLM, Field Marshal would still be alive today. They didn't and couldn't kill him. Field Marshal didn't die from any bullet of the Cameroon army. In fact, the 4 of them that accompanied the hired assassins of Paul Tasong to Field Marshal's location would not as much as get anywhere close to the location during the mission. They decided to stop halfway before the location, preferring the 4 assassins to go complete the mission. They reunited only after the mission was accomplished, according to an eyewitness who was one of the team members. This should explain why, unlike in their character, no Cameroon soldier could pose with the remains of Field Marshal at the scene of the murder. They couldn't because the assassination wasn't carried out by them. They were not there at the scene. Even the assassins will not also pose with a dead body of Field Marshal because they did not want to expose their identities. It was not until the following day, after the army had made its way from almost 12 hours of overnight trekking from Menji, that they posed at the scene with the remains of Field Marshal of Ambazonia. Now, take note. The facts of the narrative I'm about bringing to you are coming from insiders. Insiders. And I mean some of the guys who actually were part of the execution team. Not someone else spoke to them. I personally did. I spoke to them. And we actually have them on record. Of course, we equally spoke to some military sources who were part of the recovery team that trekked to that forest to recover the body of Field Marshal of Ambazonia. The mission to eliminate Field Marshal started on Monday, July the 11th. Paul Tasong's contracted assassins were first seen sneaking into the vicinity that Monday evening, Monday, July the 11th. Villagers who first spotted them said they looked strange and suspicious. They didn't look like people they have seen around. The villagers thought they could be the military descending from Minji. But then they quickly dismissed the idea because the assassins didn't dress looking like professional soldiers. At a second thought, the villagers perceived they must be Amber boys, since Ambers were in the habit of coming in once in a while and spending days in the surrounding cocoa farms in that area. Late that Monday evening, July the 11th, the villagers, not seeing the four mysterious men return, some two villagers set out to see they could trace them, but it was an exercise in futility. The assassins had disappeared into the sprawling cocoa farms, where they remained in hiding throughout the night. The following morning, being July the 12th, Tuesday, July the 12th, the day of the assassination, the assassins re-emerged from their hiding in the cocoa farms. We now are aware that they were not set out to kill just Field Marshal alone. They did not. They had two people in mind as their target, and they were set out to kill Field Marshal 2 by 2 and Field Marshal the King. At about 8 a.m. or past 8 a.m., they invaded the home of a former Red Dragon fighter, popularly known as Petit Pongo. Petit Pongo hails from the village of Belua, at least for those of you who are familiar with Fontem. He had a cocoa farm in the vicinity and was living there. He was a former Red Dragon, but had left the bush since 2018 to take care of his farm. The assassins picked him up, tied up his hands, briefly tortured and intimidated him to lead them to where FM 2 by 2 was. He lived quite close to FM 2 by 2, but 2 by 2 had already left for the morning to the bush. He told them same, but they insisted that he must take them to where 2 by 2 was. When he responded that the bush was quite sprawling and had to figure out exactly where 2 by 2 had gone to. At this point, the assassins demanded that he leads them to where FMA was camping. But he didn't know the location either, the location of FMA. He tried explaining that he had long left the camp since 2018 and that Field Marshal the King and his team changed location several times. The assassins knew he was speaking the truth because they all knew him. All of them at one point were members of the Red Dragons. I mean the assassins and the victim. They were all members of the Red Dragons. They knew who they were talking to. But because they masked their faces, the culprit couldn't immediately identify them. He didn't know whom he was talking to. They masked their faces. Unable to lead them to Field Marshal 2 by 2 and Field Marshal of Ambazonia, they made him to take them to another ex-fighter whom FMA had recently disciplined by sending out of the camp for torturing a woman and confiscating her cell phone. When they arrived, they heard of this young man going by the name of Money. He wasn't in. They waited until he walked in on them. Our eyewitness said immediately he stepped in, the assassins pounced on him, kicked him military style on his legs, and he staggered to the floor. They got him on his legs, tied his hands behind his back, and demanded that he lead them to FMA's location. At first, he would not cooperate. He told them he had no idea where FMA lives. He swore several times he didn't know the whereabouts or the location, the camp of Fimasha, the king. At this point, they led him behind the house, where a tank full of rainwater was waiting. They submerged him in the tank, threatening that they would end his life right there if he didn't cooperate. At this point, our source said he heard something like a gunshot from behind the house and then a loud wailing and confession from the victim. Quote, "Yes, I will take you there. I will take you for there." End of quote. At the admission, they took him out of the water tank and led him back into the house with blood oozing from his nose. The journey to Fimasha's camp started at that moment. It was, I'm told, a little after 9 a.m. at this time. My source told me that the boy was strictly warned that if he should take them through any track where they can be trapped, that they will shoot him to death. Again, all of these assassins had been part of the Red Dragons in the past, but had left at least 3 years prior to this day. They were well aware that taking the regular track to Fimasha's camp, they wouldn't arrive FMA unstopped or killed. They knew that there were traps and security on different spots on the track. They wouldn't return in one piece if they followed the regular path to the location. So they made sure their captive invented new tracks through the bushes to avoid being killed. From where they picked up their escort to FMA's hiding, it took them a good amount of 8 hours of trekking. 8 hours of trekking. When they arrived, Fimasha wasn't sleeping as some people have said. No, he wasn't. He was seated on a string bed, actually taking dinner with one of his guards. His location was such that you couldn't get to it without passing through security and other camps in the vicinity. But because the assassins traveled with someone very familiar with the location and who knew how to cut off traps, security, and the other camps before getting to him, Fimasha and others were essentially taken by surprise, to the effect that they were almost all ambushed. From a distance, as they spotted Fimasha seated on the string bed, they shot him from the back, sniper style. He shouted, Fimasha shouted, exclaiming, "Jesus," as he slumped on his own back at the sniper's bullet. The assassins then waited for a moment to see if he wakes back up. He didn't. Life had been taken out of him. At this point, the guard had succeeded to escape, the guard who was with Fimasha, since they were taken by surprise. The first fighter from the nearby camp to get to the scene was ambushed and killed with a belly busted. Others, discovering they had been taken by surprise, scampered for their own safety. So then, who were these assassins? Now, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, my technician is not here to run the images, but what I intend to do is, after this presentation, I will then bring you the images, their faces. You will see their faces and know their names. So who were the assassins? They were all former Red Dragons fighters. former generals and commanders. But they had left fighting for between 2 to 3 years long. They had long gone. Some had joined the DDRO, and others had joined the occupying La République du Cameroon soldiers in Azi and Minji as escorts and informants. The leader of the team, the person whose face I will show you later, popularly known as Per Second, as someone he judged to call him, from the little town of Inje, in the vicinity of Azi in Fontaine, was one of the first recruits in the Red Dragons. 2 of them had 2 years ago negotiated with the occupying soldiers and turned themselves to them in a stage murder. La République du Cameroon soldiers in Azi conducted a mock of fake death for both of them. Their supposed corpses were paraded on social media. But that very day, their corpses were paraded, they were spotted with military authorities in Boya. They had been rushed there, that is rushed to Boya, then to brief La République du Cameroon military commanders in Boya on how to capture Fimasha. That was about 2 years ago. But before they could leave Boya and return to the BLM with the troops, news had leaked to Fimasha that they were spotted in Boya with the military and that they were returning with the military to conduct a capture mission. Before they got to the spot where Fimasha and the other fighters were hiding, of course, as I said, the news had leaked and they had disappeared. They had vanished. That plot failed. Since then, this killer assassin remained an escort for the occupying military, even driving them each time that military was afraid of the Fansé ambush on the Chang-Libialem road. He is the one on Okada, seen escorting the body of Fimasha from the murder scene to the waiting La République du Cameroon military helicopter. You all saw that Okada guy carrying the corpse. I will show you his face. One Atabon Kingsley was another member of the four paid by Paul Tasong. Unlike Per Second, who hails from Fontaine LGA, Kingsley hails from Alo LGA. He deserted the Red Dragons after Ayeke plotted to kill him. He joined DDRO briefly for a while before moving to Chang, where he became another informant, an escort for the invading soldiers. That is, I will show you his face too. He is the most talkative among them. He actually took and circulated the first images of Fimasha that made the rounds on social media after he was killed. The third assassin, the actual hitman, the one who fired the shot, is Paul Tasong's neighbor from same village of Mokbin in Alo, LGA. He is popularly known as Amadou. Again, I will show you his face. He is also reported to be the one who deformed Fimasha's face after hitting it with the butt of his gun to make sure Fimasha was actually dead. I will show you his face too. Take note, they were not dressed in military attire when they carried out this mission or murder. They changed their attire only after the killing. Maybe they changed it to camouflage among the rest of the military in an effort to hide their identities. He too had previously served in the Red Dragons, the hitman. The last killer whose face you will also see by the name of Nevi. Actually, we don't have Nevi's image. He is the only person whose image we do not have. But he was one of them, and he was also a former member of the Red Dragons. Actually, one of the generals. Like the others, he had deserted the Red Dragons more than 2 years before this day. It wasn't going to take long before the murderers began to talk after the assassination. First, The only photos that made the rounds on social media were sent to their fellow blacklegger who runs an off-license in Cham. The blacklegger then posted them on social media before rushing there to do a live show bragging how finally they got Field Marshal the King. They equally made sure they told those who had hired them and paid for it. They mentioned one name, that of Paul Tasong, colonial minister in La République du Cameroon, who is from Libya too. One on weekend, the 16th, through the 17th, the assassins visited Paul Tasong to confirm the accomplishment of the mission. Again, the weekend of the 16th and 17th, all the four of them visited Paul Tasong, including the two that they captured to take them to the scene. And for your information, those two are still with them. The two are still with them. And the 2 year I'm referring to those they forcefully picked up to take to the location, to lead them to the location of Field Marshal. They are still with them. They are together. So on Monday, the 18th, they were paid through Paul Tasong's middleman in Boya. The amount paid, we learned, was 23 million CFA. Again, that was on July the 18th. The amount was to be divided among the 6 of them. Now, this is interesting. The amount is not being divided among the 4 assassins, but the amount, the 23 million, we learn, was divided amongst the 6 of them. The 4 who were the actual mission leaders, and the other 2 who led them there. So the amount, the 23 million, is being shared by the 6 of them. That is again including the 2 escorts they had picked up and forced to lead them to Field Marshal's location. The amount may have been a little more than 23 million, but for the scuffle that developed among the boys over who should get the lion's share of the amount. Now, this is what I understand. I understand that they had gone on the 18th to get that money. When they got to the office of this agent whom Paul Tasong was using in Boya to pay them, there was a fight as to how they are going to share the money, divide the money. And so the guy who was to pay them realized they were already fighting even without the money getting in their hands. He told them to leave and come back. And so they left. Now, this is what happened. As a result of the scuffle, the fight between them, Tasong's paymaster suggested that they all leave and come back later. When they returned later, the money had already been split and packaged in different envelopes for them, so that each person walked in and just picked his own envelope without knowing exactly what was in the other person's envelope. That is what transpired. That's how the money was shared. On the July 20th, they all traveled to Douala. Atabon Kingsley bought a car with his own part of the money. And we will bring you the image of the car too. We will show you the image of the car that you bought with the blood money. The young guy called Per Second, we learn, is planning to travel abroad with his own share of the money. 2 have moved to Bafoussam and taken rented permanent homes. Another one is in Yaoundé. Now we'll learn of some good news 2 days ago. It is not yet very much confirmed, but so far it sounds like it is true And the good news, ladies and gentlemen, is that Amadou, the guy from Paul Tasong's neighborhood, from Imogbin, the hitman himself, the guy who actually gunned down field marshal, was reported killed or dead 2 days ago. He is now with Patrick Ekema. That is, again, if the news is confirmed, he will not be eating his own share of the blood money. He is said to have died mysteriously in a Bafoussam hospital 3 days ago. As far as the diaspora angle is concerned, now this is very, very important. As far as the diaspora is concerned, the hands of the entire former executive of Fontaine LGA, ladies and gentlemen, cannot be clean. Their hands cannot be clean because they will not succeed in controlling Field Marshal the King and the fighters on the ground. They had launched a vilification campaign against Field Marshal and on several occasions invoked the ultimate deed, the ultimate sacrifice on him. Then they brought up this campaign also of the need to open up Fontaine and Lebielem, conniving with Likudo, the so-called Leban Cultural and Development Association or organization. They connive. Fontaine LGA, former executive, they connive with this organization. And all agreed that Field Marshal was the hindrance to the opening up of Lebielem. Other meetings were held in Maryland and in Ohio. And fora were created, including one called Leban Forum. It still exists, where calls were made to kill FMA. Should he not cooperate with them in opening up Fontaine and Lebielem at large? A Fontaine LGA meeting, again, a Fontaine LGA meeting took place through Zoom on Sunday, June the 19th. In that meeting, one John Talee, a nurse residing in North Carolina, raised a motion. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to this. Again, in that meeting, a nurse by the name of John Talee, who lives in North Carolina, raised a motion in that meeting to raise funds to pay anyone who will kill Field Marshal of Ambazonia. He intimated that he would personally donate anywhere from within $10,000 to $30,000. Unfortunately, I couldn't find his picture out there. Again, he was trying to persuade others in that meeting that he would personally donate anywhere between $10,000 to $30,000 for the assassination of Field Marshal, for anyone who would do the job. Another fellow called Edmund Folefek, he is supposed to be a medical doctor residing in Ohio. He joined in the chorus and suggested that he will rush to Boston to see if he can raise some more funds. The money, they said, will not go into the BLM LGA. The money, they said, will not go into Fontaine LGA account. No, the money was not to go into Fontaine LGA accounts. No, but the money will be remitted into one bank of Ambazonia. We have this one on tape, on record. Two, the records are there, ladies and gentlemen, from that meeting. However, quite a number of people left that meeting protesting that suggestion. But it didn't seem appalling at all to the executive, that executive of Fontaine LGA. Not at all. It wasn't surprising though. They had since wanted Le BLM open up, Fontaine open up. They wanted schools to resume, hospitals open, churches to go on with their businesses. Now you saw Bernard Okalia in Le BLM over the weekend, and I'm sure you all confirm nothing is moving there. Everywhere it is deserted. Everywhere has been consumed with grass. But these guys were championing what? The resumption of activities, the opening up of activities in September. And in their mind, Field Marshal was the problem. As though Field Marshal was the one who sent people out of the BLM. When La République du Cameroon terrorist trips, you all have seen the video footage out there covered by the BBC of La République du Cameroon burning homes in the market square in Azi. You guys have seen that. You have seen them burning homes in Menji, ladies and gentlemen. That is the problem. It was the problem. It was the reason for which everybody left Le BLM, left Menji, left Azi, and abandoned it the way it looks today. Field Marshal wasn't the problem. If you are listening and watching me from the BLM as I speak, especially if you are in Ngwenchen, in Takwe, all those areas, 2 days before Field Marshal died, he gathered the people together and said to them, we want community schools to resume. If you have people in the diaspora who can sponsor community schools in the remote areas, we will support those schools to resume. He called me and he spoke to me. I said, that's a good idea. Schools in Lekong, in JA, those remote areas were to be open. Community schools, not so-called government schools owned and operated by La République du Cameroon. Field Marshal made it very clear, no public school in Menji will open. No school in Alo, in Lewo, in those center towns, Azi, will operate. But in the neighboring villages, schools were planning to resume. Community schools were planning to resume. And he had asked the villagers, please contact your sons and daughters in the diaspora. Let them support these community schools. That is what was going on. Field Marshal wasn't the problem. He was the solution, ladies and gentlemen. And even Dion Gutes knows that. The colonial governor knows that. The criminal elite, the CPDM elite in Yaoundé and Douala and Boya, wherever they find themselves, even in the diaspora, they know that. They know that he wanted schools to resume. FMA was not the hindrance, ladies and gentlemen, but they wanted him taken off the way. If that former Fontaine LGA executive, led by Tony Tasong, Chairman Dr. Nika, and Security Chief Fontaine Oliver, these three, again, Tony Tasong, Dr. Nika, and Fontaine Oliver, if, ladies and gentlemen, if they want the people to believe their hands are clean, if they want you listening to the sound of my voice to believe their hands are clean, we will need them to explain why none of them objected or protested the idea of raising funds in that June the 19th meeting to kill Field Marshal the King. How come none of them raised an alarm and said, you cannot say that in here? John Talé and Edmund Folefe, who saw this idea in the past, ladies and gentlemen, have hardly attended Fontaine local government meetings. Since from the days of Sako, they have never considered themselves members of this interim government. This was the only occasion they showed up. They came in. They had a mission, and that mission was the execution of field marshal. An execution of field marshal. And can anyone believe that one of them is still seated in the ANC? Oliver Fontaine is still seated in the security team of Ambazonia, the so-called ANC. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what he is doing there, even when that entire executive has resigned, since resigned. It is ridiculous, to say the least. John Talley, the nurse, the leader of these in North Carolina, after a couple of speakers took to the floor berating him, he hastily but sarcastically apologized and then withdrew the statement. But who can tell what transpired after the meeting in the back rooms? Who can tell? Especially when Fontaine executive didn't see anything wrong at all with his suggestion. The BLM County and Fontaine LGA immediately went into a split after suggestions to kill field marshal and talks about opening up the county started. Fontaine LGA regrouped and formed a new executive. Not long after that, the entire former executive led by Tony Tasong resigned. I have no doubt, ladies and gentlemen, that Paul Tasong isn't that generous to have all on his own put 23 million francs, that is close to $60,000, close to $60,000. Paul Tasong isn't known to be that generous to put all of that money on his own on the table for the assassination of field marshal. Money left the diaspora to him. Money left the diaspora to Paul Tasong. I can assure you that where that money in the diaspora came from, we will dig into it and expose it. But at least for now, you have the clues. You know who opted to raise money in the BLM diaspora to kill field marshal. They will surely receive their pay. And I will be back. I will be back to inform you the moment those doors in the diaspora are open. And ladies and gentlemen, that is it. Now I'd like to bring to you the images of those who carried out the killing, the assassination of field marshal of Ambazonia. Now, the person you see here, ladies and gentlemen, I take this closely. The person that you see here, the guy on your left in military fatigue, is called Amadou. Amadou is the one who has now, as I learned, gone to be with Ekema Patrick. He couldn't eat the blood money. He was a hitman. That is the guy who shot field marshal and also used the butt of his gun, as I learned, to hit the face. That is him on your left. That is the hitman. The guy on your right is the one they call Paul Tasong. Ladies and gentlemen, none of them is a military personnel. They were all just dressed. They have been dressed up. You see the car, the truck that the guy on your right is standing in front. Because the military in the BLM became so afraid, ladies and gentlemen, of being blown up. They hired this guy. They hired this guy, ladies and gentlemen, to be driving them. They hired him to be driving them around Lebialem. So that is the guy they call per second. Per second. That is his face. Again, the one whose death was fake. The guy whose death was fake. In the BLM, just to get fee marshal. That is his face. And again, the one on your left is the one who carried out the assassination of Field Marshal. I call them Paul Tasong's hitmen. Paul Tasong's hitmen. Now we also have this one here. He is called Atabong Kingsley. Atabong Kingsley. He was one of the team players who led the four. He was number 2. Again, his name is Atabong Kingsley. He was among them in the bush. Now, Atabong Kingsley, ladies and gentlemen, if you can see the image behind him, that is the helicopter. That is the helicopter that took the remains, that flew to that village and carried the remains of Field Marshal to Kumba. Now let me remind you that the guy on your right, called per second, is the guy who transported the body of Field Marshal on that Okada machine. Again, the guy on your right is the guy who transported the body of Field Marshal on an Okada to the spot where the helicopter was waiting. Most of you saw that image. Now, the guy that is seated in that reconciliation meeting with Field Marshal, and they were seated there rejoicing, that guy is an innocent guy. He had nothing to do with this. In fact, I should say, all of the red dragons in the bushes, they had nothing, zero, to do with this ark. They had nothing to do with it. Again, this information I bring to you is coming from people who participated in the execution. I have them in record, in audio messages, talking one-on-one with yours truly. And not only that, we have military sources who were in that bush the day that Field Marshal was killed and taken. So we have dependable information. The guy on your right is the one who transported the body of Field Marshal on Okada to the helicopter. Now I'll take you to this other one. This other one is this is another one, another hitman, a member of the team. I think his name is what is his name? This is not Neville. I don't have the image of Neville. This should be ladies and gentlemen, I lost the name of this other guy, but the face is there. You can see the face. I have mentioned all of their names there. Now you can also see, I'd like you to look at this image, ladies and gentlemen. You look at this guy. That is, again, Atabong Kingsley sitting right there by the helicopter that transported the body of Field Marshal to Kumba. Now, the car you see there, that is a car he bought with the blood money from Paul Tasong on July 20th. On July 20th, ladies and gentlemen, that is the car he bought with the blood money. That is it. Now to a very humbling moment here, a very, very humbling moment here, ladies and gentlemen. Let me bring this to you. Let me bring this to you. If you can look at this images in front of you. Look at those images. Look at those images. The young man that you see on your screen, the young man you see on the screen with kids, with children, that is the red dragon. That was ambush. He was ambushed by La République du Cameroon, ladies and gentlemen. The young man was ambushed. That's a red dragon. The guy on the phone, and on the top left and bottom right is the same person. That handsome looking gentleman fighting for the red dragons, hailed from a sword attack. Those two kids you find there, those are the two children he left behind. He was ambushed that day. He was the first to rush to the scene when he heard gunshots at the location of Field Marshal. Rushing to the scene with others following, he was ambushed first, and then since the way they came was not the conventional way, others had to vamoose. He was ambushed. They could not kill him, I learned, with their guns. And then they cut him with hands, butchered him, and hung him on a tree with his intestines gushing out. That is him, that brave young man. I really pray that there are some good people out there who will volunteer to support these two kids, these two children left behind by this brave, handsome-looking Ambazonian who decided to give his life to free the country. Ladies and gentlemen, it is sad. But those are the faces. Those are the faces. This one, again, was a victim. I really hope that some of you can reach out to me. Let us get to the family of this young man and see if we can help these two kids. I'm sure that last one on the bottom left probably is not up to 6 months old. I believe that. Probably is not up to 6 months old. That is a father. That young-looking guy, he was assassinated the same day they killed Field Marshal. He went with Field Marshal. So please, if you really care out there, I'd like you to consider. I don't want to do this. If you reach me and say you want to champion the initiative to collect funds, if it comes out only $1,000, just imagine what $1,000 can do for these two kids and for their mother. Please, if you want to champion that, raising some funds for them, reach out to me and let's plan that. Let's give you the go-ahead to champion that initiative. Let's let them know that we care. Let's let them know it was a sacrifice for all of us. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am not bringing you the images in the diaspora for now. The only reason being that where the money came from precisely, we are still to put our fingers on it. But again, the executive of Fontaine LGA, led by Tony Tasong, Oliver Fontaine, and Dr. Nikar, they are, I consider them accomplices. Unless they step out and tell them why they did not oppose when one of theirs, somebody who did not even belong to the LGA, came to the meeting that day, just to suggest, to raise funds. And they put it out there very clear. Ladies and gentlemen, if you doubt it, call the BLM people who were in that meeting. I had as much as 3 people from the meeting called me and said, Chris, you needed to be in that meeting. And I said, what? They explained what transpired. And one of them actually recorded the meeting, and we have it, part of the meeting, and we have it on tape. So unless that executive comes out to tell us why they did not object to that kind of suggestion, they are all accomplices. And I bet you we are on the case until we know who gave what from the diaspora. Ladies and gentlemen, that is all I can tell you for today. Again, the danger, the enemy here is Paul Tasong. Paul Tasong ladies and gentlemen, is the enemy. Paul Tasong is the enemy, and I hope that every one of you out there takes note of that. Now, a moment of recompense will come. A moment of recompense will come. I have no doubt, Paul Tasong can pay for the killing of others with his money. But when his own money comes, but when his own moment comes, money won't save you, sir. Money won't save you. You are put on notice. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for staying put. Now I am joined by the chairman of the Electoral Commission. I was told he has a quick announcement to make. I am here talking about the Honorable Reverend Enchang, who has an announcement to make. Reverend Chang, please, I will not interrupt you. Go straight, make that announcement. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary Chris, fellow Ambazonians. This is heartbreaking, and I can't address you, ladies and gentlemen, without calling for a moment of silence in honor of our great and one and only Field Marshal. Let's do. Yes, Lord. In times like this, we continue to understand that freedom is not free. We understand that our Savior Jesus Christ had to sacrifice his life on the cross for our freedom. We continue to pay the price of freedom. Father, we are weeping without consolation. Thousands, close to 4,000 have just gone, Father, for something that could just be settled at the negotiation table. We are sick and tired of continuing in this way. Father, we are ramshackled in our ramshackle places because of neo-colonialism. Bring comfort to all the bereaved families, to all that are sick and tired of being sick and tired of when the international community will ever step into this type of a humanitarian calamity that has befallen a people who are asserting their self-determination rights, their inalienable rights. Oh God, be merciful to these families. Heal us and hear us and bring us freedom at last. For your name's sake, we pray. Amen. Amen. Fellow Ambazonians, the moment has come. This is ECA, the Election Commission of Ambazonia, calling on the nation, calling on the international community to pay great attention to this important election. The importance of this election is that
sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen, for that problem with Apostle Chang's camera. I hope that he adjusts the camera and I bring him back. Please, Reverend Apostle Chang, adjust your camera. Get it right as quickly as possible so that I can bring you back to make this announcement, please. We are looking at your screen. Adjust that camera as quickly as you can so we can bring you back. In the meantime, I will open the phone lines. If anybody out there has something to chip in here, go ahead and you call the regular number while we wait for the chairman of the Electoral Commission to come with his announcement. The lines are open. Wherever you are joining from, go ahead and make that phone call. Let me know how you are feeling after listening to my presentation today. All right, okay. It appears, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to hold on with phone calls. We are going to hold on with the phone calls for the moment. I see that Reverend Chang is getting set. Adjust your camera, please. Your head is almost cut off. Okay, hold on there. Leave it there the way that it is, and let's see whether we get it right here. Okay, adjust your camera. Your head is almost cut off, please. Perfect. All right, I hope your okay, go on, please.
Yes, sorry, ladies and gentlemen, for that hitch. Like I was saying, please, Secretary Chris and the family, accept our heartfelt condolences. Be comforted. The Lord is our comfort. The Lord is our joy. The Lord is your strength. Fellow Ambazonians, the Lord is fighting for us, and so join in the fight from victory to victory. Our freedom is sure as the Lord is leading the way. The importance of this announcement is that today marks the close of the examination of files and opens a chapter soon and very soon for the proclamation of the results. The successful candidates to run for the 2022 presidential elections in the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, former Southern Cameroon. It must be understood, therefore, that after midnight tonight, Amber time, all successful candidates will be presented to the public and are expected to start their campaign. These campaigns are expected to serve as a diplomatic weapon to bring Southern Cameroon, Ambazonia, on the spotlight. It is not just the individual, but the nation. So our nation first. We beg of you to stay prayerful. We call on all of you to create history. Join us to make history. Why is this very, very important? Like I have said, in a matter of 3 weeks or more, the United Nations General Assembly meetings will be holding. You have the golden opportunity to bring a liberator, firebrand president into the United Nations. This 3 weeks away from us. You owe the Ambazonian population the collaboration, the cooperation to identify with the fighting forces on the ground by using your own bullets at the ballot box to cause this history to be written. Our forefathers wrote that history in 1954. If we can accept that we blamed them for not doing enough, we are in the 21st century, fellow Ambazonians, and we are condemned to do better than they. We are condemned to be able to contest even on the same platform as they did. We must join to have these free and fair elections. We must unanimously sensitize the populace. We must educate and sue for peace. In times like this, we beg of you to be in the spirit of prayer. We're cautioning that aspirants and campaign managers make sure that your campaign material is rich for international consumption, visionary, and promising that which every democracy expects. Because it's going to be a virtual election, ACA is working very meticulously to see that you electronically cast your votes, get history down, and bring to the fore the leader democratically who will paddle this great nation in the next 3 years. Like I said, as your servant, ECA has been entrusted with this duty, not only to ask you to go campaign, but also to go with you in campaign to evaluate your campaign material, to see that healing is brought during your campaign slots, to see that people who were sitting on the fence have been brought in. We do not trust that any of us will misuse our campaign opportunity to settle any personal scores. We have a score to settle as a nation with the aggressor nation, period. Let me now say this. We are very thankful to all of you who have been sacrificing enormously to bring us to where we are today. We want to thank the Almighty for the various challenges, and the Election Commission of Ambazonia is equal to the task. So we want to call on your consciences to have confidence in ECA. ECA will deliver, and deliver in time, by the help of the Almighty, without fear or favor. Your servant is equally here ready to take the task with you. Why? The challenge is very important. Without challenge, there is no champion. So take the challenge and go there to convince people. We hear election carpet crossing during campaigns. That is nothing bad. Ambazonians must know it. The way you present your campaign material out there is going to fetch you the votes you need to ascend to the helm of this nation. if you spend that time to vilify and assassinate person's character, we will not subscribe to that. And it might not end up fetching you the votes you need. It might not all go well with the international community. We are trusting the Lord that international observers will see what to take home. So ask yourself, what are they going to take home on your diplomatic or your foreign missions plan? That is for the interest of Southern Cameroon's Ambazonia. What will be the take home on the suffering masses? What will be the take home on those who have been deprived of their schooling opportunities, of their jobbing opportunities 6 years running? These and much more are some of the things that must be handled to curb the insecurity that reigns almost supreme in our motherland. There are sick people back home who don't have access to health facilities. We have heard how people have said, either us or the highway. Let me bring this promise to you. The Lord humbles the proud and exalts the humble. Humble yourself, therefore, under the mighty hand of God during your campaign period, that God may lift you high. Because promotion doesn't come from abroad. Promotion comes from above. And God will surely promote someone from above to the hem of this nation. And we shall all rejoice. Now, if you understand that where there is no challenge, there is no champion, fellow Ambazonians, we are bent on conducting a peaceful, just, free, fair, and transparent election for you. Remember, ECA is a tireless brainchild of the Restoration Council of the Interim Government of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia that has come to see the light of dawn under the leadership of President Marianta Njomia. And this is an opportunity the former President Sako Samuel Ikome, as well as Dr. Teta Nji Emmanuel, denied to avail themselves of. I plead with all of you, the electorate, you, the local government areas, the county and regions, and of course, the honorable members of parliament. Prayerfully use your democratic and diplomatic weapon to send a liberator president to the head of this nation, a God-fearing one, a firebrand who is rocked with the blood of the Lamb, with a revolutionary mindset to cause the United Nations and all to reckon with this force. Any act of sabotage in this process will cause that even the Lord Almighty will not tolerate. So, dear Ambazonians, this election is very crucial. This is the opportunity to tell the rest of our independent restoration movement why the restoration of our independence is necessary. If we are restoring an independence that was granted to us on the 24th of April 1961 at the United Nations General Assembly, then there is no argument, there is no other argument about the formation or the existence or the restoration of a government. It was just the right thing to do. And you have another golden opportunity to speak. So I believe now, by midnight tonight, Ambazonia time, it will be the aspirants to speak to the population. On the 6th of September, the population will speak. Southern Cameroon's Ambazonia will speak through their vote. And when they have spoken, we will bring it to you as it is. And that will reflect your performance in the field during this campaign period. When we avail you of the opportunities, dear aspirants, to go on live debates, we cannot school you on that. But we say you have an opportunity to create world records in the democratization process in the continent of Africa. Should we count on you? Can we trust you? We are surely making the field very level for all players to take to the start and play the game. So, you know for now, fellow Ambazonians, that 3 candidates have expressed their democratic rights to give you their dream of the kind of Ambazonia that you have been fighting and dying for. It is a laudable thing that they did this. So let me thank all these 3 candidates in advance for dreaming to lead the people, for the crisis that we have faced, whether spiritual, traditional, or whatever, have been leadership crises. We pray you have the blessings of the Almighty to be that leader, to get us out of this doldrum. You will never regret you contributed to this. So I call on the populace to respect all these candidates. All of them have at least qualified in the depositing of their $2,000 non-refundable monies that will go to help this nation, that will go to help this country, even if they lose. So respect them in the ground. And I would like to equally tell all, the mandate of President Marianta is not expired. So as she passes around, it is the right thing to do to give her the respect as the president of this nation, as the transitional president, until the expiry of that transitional mandate. I also ask that we be ready to win or to lose, for that is exactly what happens in a democracy. Let me let you go so that you come back and be glued to any gadget that will be made available for that declaration of the winners and the contestants. And I'll equally ask that, please, contestants, use the kicking hours, the early dawn of this 11th of August 2022 to pronounce your campaign material out there. Let it be floated. Make it international. Thank you very much.
All right.
The world is listening. The world is watching. And we trust that the church is praying. All clergy of the various denominations, various religions will be joining in a communal prayer for peace to reign during campaigns, after results, In Jesus' name.
All right.
Amen.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you. So I guess the take-home message from your announcement is that the voting period is over, and at midnight or so, you're going to be announcing. Will you be announcing the names of the candidates you have voted, or what?
Exactly, Secretary Chris. We'll be announcing the names and we're making available whatever they have. If you have your speech, you will be able to do that right after midnight tonight. And we are calling on the population to cooperate with you and give you the audience wherever you demand such.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for joining the broadcast. You have a great night, sir.
Same with you. My pleasure.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was the chairperson of ACA, Electoral Commission of Ambazonia, announcing the final voting period for all the candidates who applied to become your new leader. And let me say this. I have a very, very important announcement coming up on Monday. I have a very, very big announcement, important announcement that I shall be making on Monday. So, you don't want to miss that. You don't want to miss that. Monday, make the rendezvous back here on ABS, same time. Now, I would like to open the phone lines. I will get the first 5 callers. Now, we're not talking about election. We're not talking about elections, so don't call to talk about elections. Call to talk about the subject that I discussed today, that I brought to you today. So the phone line is open. If you want to call, go ahead and call again. I will take just the very first 5 callers. The very first 5 callers. And while I wait for those calls to come in, just like to remind you of what is happening at the weekend. Again, the final farewell to Field Marshal of Ambazonia. All routes lead to Maryland. In the DC area on Saturday the 13th, I think they call it, is it Dora or Cora Kennedy French Mission School, something like that, in Greenbelt. You need the address. Let's see. We have that address with us here on the screen. I think it is right there. Please go ahead, and the phone line is open. Ladies and gentlemen, the address is right there. Dora Kennedy School Gymnasium, 8950 Edmonton Road, Greenbelt, Maryland. 8950 Edmonton Road, Greenbelt, Maryland. That is where the grand finale for the farewell to Field Marshal is taking place. All right, I get to the very first caller now, and 4 to go. Hello, sir.
Hello, Secretary Chris.
Hello, ma'am. Where are you calling from?
From Bamenda, Northern Zone.
Bamenda, Northern Zone. Good to hear your voice, ma'am. What is in your mind? What is on your mind?
Yes, Secretary Chris, I want to contribute now for this issue about FMA, King of Ambazonia.
Right.
I want to talk say this FMA, you think it don't touch all we for ground zero for here. So the only thing I will contribute for talking to say, I wanna try for say when I get rid of all these people the way they don't take away FMA your lives.
Well, one is gone already. I learned the hitman is gone already. I learned that.
Yeah, that's good. If really not true, then we are very, very happy. But all the Paul Tasong, any person will get idea about this FMA the king, he passed away because I know say he depart, he did for Papa God the right hand. Yes, he did for Papa God the right hand. Any person will get idea, Secretary Chris, we no hear anything from Muna, but they only can talk. Muna get rid of them, even with the black legs. Any person, especially any person where he contribute to the FMA, he pass on to glory because I know say he did for Papa God the right hand. Any person get an idea, Secretary Chris, Muna make sure say Muna bring it down, make it no exist. Me no exist. Now my own thing that way I want to contribute this evening because I be very annoyed. That one say FMA he don't pass on to the glory. I was very angry. I be cry. So I want to talk say even if to say that for make am say Muna donate self even for send in snipers and for me they take in these people these enablers, then we'll be very happy. We'll be very happy. So now my own contribution, now I want to contribute this evening.
All right, thank you. We hear you, and I hope that our military people they hear you too. Let's see who is next on line. The line is open, ladies and gentlemen. So let's see who is next here. Hello.
Hello, Mr. Chris. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Where are you calling in from?
I call right for Bali.
Right for Bali. Okay.
Well,
what you did for your head?
Yes. Well, I be sorry for free marshal die we die. But any man will try for kill say me the kill free marshal, now you know. Because people don't over die. People they think now say people they die so they make someone die, it will come come out, it will come come out. So any man will try for make and say me free marshal die, may God punish him. Because all that you know we way that. I see the show I'm saying it will show the key free marshal. Long run, it will show himself, it will key by himself, it will key skin by himself. Because no way that this struggle now will struggle. All man no say now will struggle. But if you go show man say we kill it, we no get to know nothing for do, we go make us say kill it, you know fine. So now big say man no fit do all that kind of thing. And I be big say all the fight at them. May they begin hide themselves. They don't begin come for public anyhow. May they begin hit themselves for some place where they fit stop the hide. This struggle na go real fair. Where they get for the worker go come out na time where they want go fight. They fight to come back. Not begin come for public anyhow. At the same time, they just come out anyhow. We no find so now. So they electoral they become kill them for nothing. So now only so I want to talk, Mr. Chris. May I thank you. I see the other time when we hear say free marshal die so talk to me crime it will be crazy very fast. But thank God say me any man will be together. Thank you.
Right. Thank you. Thank you for the call, sir. Thanks.
Okay. Bye.
Hello. Okay, 3 more calls to go. Ground Zero has been listening. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, sir. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Konsamba.
Wow, you're always getting through from Konsamba. How are you doing today, sir?
No, everything's fine, sir.
Okay. What is in your mind?
Sorry, I did be sorry, but it be very, 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 very good for the way we una the show that face of that guys. So we dey with the admire them, we dey find them. Thank you for the way you don't show them, we don't see. We dey out, we dey find them. And a stubborn fly always end his life in the gizzard of the young chicken. We find them as a lion. Very good.
That your program strong.
That means a stubborn fly, as I when they don't go show the key free marshal, they feel say they don't run, they feel say they don't really go very far. They in between we and we define them. They will, in the weeks ahead, they will hear how we will display on them. Me they know feel say they don't Paul Tasong feel say he be na the god or he as I the chop government money feel say he be the na the giants. But only They say if you go for bush, you see that big stick, baobab. Now only some small insect where the box is so the stick fall for down. So me no think say as I way the chop government money, it don't big, but we will try shit. Everything has a time. We will get him. So the most important thing I say, me will fight for make and say me that our my brother then where they day for Libya land, me they be where equipped. My own problem. I always say tell that my sister will be come for your stadium. They be tell you say I be tossing me give that stick. If he be don't read and give me tell win, so that will be where I know where now the Paul Tasong that I see very well.
Yes.
But you know if he escape.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for the call, sir. Remain safe.
Thank you.
All right. 2 more calls to go. Ground zero. All right. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, sir. Where are you calling from? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from the Northern Zone, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
What is the
concerning
contribution?
Your presentation today, as we've been shocked. The shock we've been get and be say, if everybody feel they react the way these people then be react before they kill the field marshal, then I don't think say this world is a good world. So we thank you for the faces where you don't show we, and the prayer way we they give we say, make the boys them where they be deal with field marshal, make them react, make them start put more effort, more eyes around the corner. Yes, because we have to tension that territory there. So the only thing where at the top we say we'll be happy as you don't expose the killers behind our field marshal, and may his gentle soul rest in perfect peace. Thank you, Secretary Chris.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the call.
Yes,
all right. Okay, let's take the next caller here. I think we missed that caller. Okay. Hello. 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 Please, when you call, you have to stay on your phone. Let's get to the next caller here. Hello.
Hello, Secretary Chris.
Hello, sir. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Bengui.
Bengui. Okay, and what is in your mind?
Yes, I want to congratulate you and to tell you, Asia, I like the courage you are using, Secretary. And I want to tell you, the good news is that guy, how they call him Buba, he died in Bafusam. So I want to say, all of them are going to call him. Hello?
Yes, I'm hearing you. Go on.
Yeah, I want to tell you that all of them are going to go, that guy that died in Bafusam General Hospital mysteriously. We want to say, we from Momo here, we are with you. We are with you. We are with the IG. We want to tell you courage, Secretary Christ. And I want to tell you, believe me, yeah, Momo is a little bit cold this time, but I want to believe Momo will rise up again. I know you are going to do something for Momo, Secretary Christ. Let Momo rise again. Thank you very much, Secretary Chris.
Thank you.
Well,
thank you.
Good night, Sophie Masha. Good night.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. All right, let's get this last caller. Hello. Can you turn down the volume of your television and focus on the phone, please? Hello. When you call and before you call, make sure that you shut down the volume of your television set, please. You cannot be listening to your television set and trying to talk on the phone, because there will be a delay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think we are going to call it a day here. I don't know what is happening with Facebook at the moment. Is somebody interrupting our broadcast or what? But thank God, we're almost done. We're almost done. I'd like to thank all of you for tuning in. I look forward to being back here on Monday with a big announcement. A big announcement, ladies and gentlemen. I look forward to seeing you. Until then, join us at the weekend. Join us at the weekend if you are in the Maryland, D.C. area, and let us celebrate our own hero, Field Marshal of Ambazonia. Good night. God bless you all.